I'm Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber, and I'm here with my friend Elon Kaplan, who's the CEO of Cytegic, and we are talking about cyber risk management.
Hi, Ed. Thank you for
Hey,
having
you
me.
know, analytics is, in some sense, the workhorse in any sort of risk management platform. Right?
Yes.
You'd be doing the correlation and analysis. There are lots of different means for doing that. I've heard you mention previously a distinction between, say, black box, white box analytics. Help them understand what's kind of the difference between white box, black box analytics.
Okay, it's I think one of the critical parts in any equation trying to make sense out of data in a manageable way. And let's stay a little bit on this word, manageable. Manageable means to what extent can I replicate and understand the ins and outs of what the analytics does. Because look, we are trying to gobble huge amounts of data from inside data and threat landscape and business processes and put it all together in something that will make sense to decision makers.
Right.
And when you enter the boardroom, and you know more than many, that you have 3 seconds, 3 colors, show me the money, and that's it. Okay. So for this we need the analytics. But when it's a black box analytics, like a closed loop machine learning process, you can't really explain how the machine got to that conclusion.
Black box means I feed data into something, it does some magic, and something pops out.
Exactly.
Is that black box?
This is a black box. Like I'm feeding it with tons of text, and it's trying to identify trends.
Spits out a number, spits
Yes.
out a graph. or
So
something.
it's like that famous number 42 that is everything in the world. Okay, where did this number come from? And when I'm sitting there in the boardroom asked, where is this number coming from? And I'm not able to dive into it, but I need to answer, trust me. Okay, this is where the discussion
Right.
quite often stops, mainly if you're trying to do that with a CFO. They don't like this
No.
answer. White box, on the other hand, is a platform that is populated with a good practice, the equation, the regression analytics, and the thesaurus, the knowledge base that everybody can drill all the way down and to replicate a specific equation. Now, we cannot replicate the whole thing in Excel sheet. With all due respect, Excel sheets are good, I'd say, elaborated whiteboards to play with numbers. But when it comes to real big number crunching, you need heavy duty machines. But at the same time, can I go all the way down to understand exactly how it works? Let me give you an example.
Sure.
If I'm talking about one component, probability of success of a set of attacks on a certain asset. So it could be that I have some black magic and I'm running all the attacks in the world against all the configuration files and I have a number. But can I replicate it and can I be sure that it's the same thing? Not necessarily. But if I have a white box, what I do is I look at the equations underlying these correlation. And some of them are pretty complicated, like partial correlations and multi-stage regressions, but all of them are open. They are white boxed. So if you put your mind to it and you dive into it, then you can put your own special IP into it as well.
Right.
Now, big players like insurance companies, like the big consulting firms, this is actually where they can build their own unique intellectual property. And this is why we believe in open box. But last but not least, the most important thing, we live in a very dynamic world. So the equation of today is not necessarily the equation of tomorrow. And the black box that was extremely predictive now is not exactly the best. In statistics, we call it the shrinkage phenomenon. If you are doing optimized computation on one set of data, by definition, it will not be the best for the next. So should I stick to one component or
Interesting.
trust it? No. So the most important thing in my mind when it comes to analytics, it's not black magic. Even though it's a little bit close to rocket science, it's not beyond your ability to learn everything. We had experience with a couple of customers that made all the effort to go to our R&D center and to study it all the way down. And you know what? They came up with better visualization of the algorithms than we did. So it is an open system, and this is the only way we believe systems for analytics in cyber world should be.
You worry that CISO teams and security executives and even folks doing analytics might say, sounds great, but who has the time to go dig into that? Give me a tool, pop it in, push a number out. I don't have time. Do you see that phenomenon?
Actually, I see it on both ends because they want both.
Yeah.
I want to get it done in 3 seconds and show me the money.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I want to be able to understand every single bit once I'm asked.
Yeah.
And this is what I
You
was...
can't have both.
You can. This is the message. You can have both. You don't need to analyze every time to the finite element. You need to be able to understand.
Right, that I agree with. I think
Once
that's
you
right.
understood it, let the
Right.
machine work.
Right, that makes sense.
Focus on making the educated decision as an expert. But don't suffice with some vendor telling you, trust me, it's good. Eat it. Well, I trusted my mother when she said it's good for you, but not anymore.
So kind of the message here for a CISO team is that when you're selecting a cyber risk management platform, make sure that you have the visibility so that you can understand what's going on.
Yes.
You can speak intelligently. So that'd be part one.
Yes.
And then part two is, once you understand, let the computing work. Don't worry so much about, climbing into every computation. That's the power of automation. Am I saying that right?
I love it the way you said
Wow,
it.
that's very good advice. I appreciate that insight.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your great comments on cyber risk management.
My pleasure.
Great.
Thanks, Ed.
And we'll see you next time.